Hey everybody, I just thought I'd come back to you after tonight's show. Urban Sentinel was hosting and highlighting Linnell Ellis and the designer Linnell Ellis of women's handbags. But I did want to come back to you to say thank you for tuning in. That's first off, and thanking Miss Ellis for joining Urban Sentinel tonight. But tomorrow night, on Real World News TV. For those who are not able to either get to a TV or tune in live to the different news outlets for the election, we will be covering the elections on three fronts. CNN will be covered by Reggie Kearney. Fox News will be covered by Chara Ann Tappin-McCabe, and I, Toni Breedlove, will be covering MSNBC. So you can get all of the results right here under one roof at the same time. So we're hoping that you will tune in for tomorrow night's show on Real World News TV. Again, we will be covering the election. Something that we've done since we have been on air is covering elections. But tomorrow night is one of those nights where we thought we were going to sit out and just look at the numbers come in. But we did want to cover it for our viewers so that they can see the results coming in under three news outlets under one roof here on Real World News TV tomorrow night. So I'm really hoping that you will tune in. We want to hear from our viewers, finding out how they feel about what those results are coming in as we are on air and as things are going on. So we're hoping that you will tune in. Tomorrow night, as always, with Real World News TV, the show will start at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Central, and 8:30 on the East Coast. Hi, Mr. Ledette. Good to see you. So tomorrow night, like I said, we're going to be covering three news outlets. CNN, covered by Reggie Kearney, Fox News, covered by Chara Ann Tappin-McCabe, and me, Toni Breedlove. I'll be covering MSNBC as the election results start to come in. We are going to try and keep it to an hour so that you can get off watching us and then tune in from your own televisions from home with your family. This is a very crucial event, one of the most crucial elections that we have had in this nation's history. So I'm really hoping that if you have not registered to vote, you still do have time to do so. You can go to your poll tomorrow night. Make sure that you take a bona fide identification. That would be something that you would be able to obtain or have obtained from your DMV, your Department of Motor Vehicles. But you can still register to vote up through tomorrow and cast your ballot. This is by far the most important election of our nation's history. And I think that everyone should be taking part in casting their ballot. I'm at a point where, I don't know if I can say I don't care who you vote for, just vote. I don't even think I can say that. But I will be honest and say I do want you to vote. I do want you to vote. And if you've never voted, please exercise that right. There's so many people from our ancestry that have given their lives, have sacrificed for us to vote. And I'm not talking about just Black people, although, we had a tough go. But it is very important that we exercise our right to vote, because someday that could possibly be taken away, and especially for women. We've got to have a voice, and we always talk about our rights. This is your right. I want you to get out and vote, okay? Don't do it for me. Do it for your children. Do it for the country of which you live. Hopefully that you will start to have a belief system that you feel that your vote will count, but it does count. It really does. So I'm really hoping that you'll do so. Hey, cousin, what's going on, Charlton Hornsby? Yes, participate in the process. You said it right. So like I said, if you have not registered to vote, you still have time. You still need to get down to your polling place. Take your state-issued identification, whether it is a driver's license or an ID card. As long as it is state-issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles, you can still vote. You can still vote. Please don't be lazy. Please don't be lazy. I want you to take part in this process, because if things don't necessarily go our way, you have no right to complain, do you? Because you weren't a part of the process. So I'm going to beg you at this point. This is just how important it is. So I want you to get out there and do your civic duty. That is your duty as a citizen of this United States. So I'm going to get off of here. Thank you, cousin, for affirming that for me. I need affirmation every now and then. But anyway, so I'm going to get off of here. And again, like I said, tomorrow night here on Real World News TV with Reggie Kearney, Chara Ann Tappin-McCabe, and me, Toni Breedlove, we'll be covering 3 news outlets live here at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Central, and 8:30 on the East Coast. And I hope to see you then. No complaining if no participation. Tanika, I couldn't say it better. Couldn't say it better. I think a lot of people get it. But there are some people that don't. They don't get it. We can end up back in the 30s and 40s messing around with this idiot. And this is a time where our voices have to be heard. This is a time where we have to speak so loudly with our participation. And if we don't, then God help us. God help us. You know, but I'm trying not to think negative. I am thinking positive, that we are going to make the difference on this election in 2020. So I'm done. I'm getting off my soapbox. So I'm really hoping you'll tune in tomorrow night. I love you. Thank you for your continued support of the Hot Topics Talk Radio Network. Make sure that you always check in on our website, www.hottopicstalkradio.com. You can always find the shows just by typing them into Facebook. You know, it's that simple. Never seen anything like what we're going through now. You're right, Tanika. This is, you know, okay. So, and I'm trying not to take up a bunch of time because I still want to try and get in my pajamas because I want to get off this computer. But you're right. This is like nothing we've seen before because it hinges on an authoritative government. That is where this man can lead us. And it's so evident in his actions. It is not like anything we've seen before because this has always been known as a free nation. And anytime that there is someone who is trying to roll back the clock to the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Anytime that there is one human being that wants to have total control over military, making military decisions, who is so hung up on himself and who he is and what he wants and not thinking about the people, that's authoritative. And that's not the country that we all live. That's not what we're here for, you know? So you're right. It's not like anything we've seen before because we've always been a free nation. The freedom to have speech, the freedom to live where we want to live and how we want to live, freedom for education, freedom to health care, just free. That's all what we've all wanted, you know? So with this being a time that is so important for all of us, and I'm not speaking about color lines at this point, because you have more of a melting pot as what we've seen just here lately in the last couple of months, with all of the unnecessary killings of Black men, people of color, Black women, and people of color, female people of color. It's a lot. And this is not something, we say, oh, well, Black people have been killed, in the streets forever. Okay, yeah, I get it. But that doesn't make it okay. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it normal. This is what we've got to come out of. For decades, Blacks have experienced unprecedented racial issues against them. So it starts there. And this is the time that it is going to take for us to turn some of this around. We've got to get to a point where we all live free. We all respect one another. And we can have a respect for whomever sits as our commander-in-chief. Right now, you don't even have, I think he has got numbers, at 43%, maybe 41% of the nation who only goes with what he says. Well, what about the other people? We're not standing for it. So that's why it's important to show that you're not standing for it by casting your vote. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead. Like I said, I'm getting out of here. Mr. Ledette, thank you. Cousin Charlton Hornsby, thank you. I love you. Thank you for tuning in to this rant. Ms. Tanika, thank you so much for your comments and watching as well. So I'm really hoping that whoever has not voted, tomorrow is your chance. And whoever is watching this, share it with somebody. Make sure that they understand how important it is for them to cast that ballot tomorrow. Okay? Otherwise, don't complain. If you complain to me, you know you're going to get it, right? I don't do complain. Okay. All right, you guys. Have a good night. I love you. And again, thank you for your continued support of the Hot Topics Talk Radio Network. We love you. Good night.